Hi, welcome to CaterShift. I'm going to take you on a guided tour of the dashboard and scheduling. Let's go to my screen.
The dashboard always shows you the most up-to-date information. You can see here that these are the current shifts as of this date and time, which updates every 60 seconds. At this time, there are 10 people working. They are listed here. The first column is when they started this role, and when it will finish. The second column shows you who is performing the role, and finally, what the role is. So at a glance, you always know who is supposed to be working and what they are supposed to be doing. If somebody turns up late for work, and you don't wish to pay for the missed time, you can easily click on the time and change it to the actual time that work started. This change will be reflected in payroll. This next section shows all of the roles that have not started yet, but will start in the next 24 hours. Further down on your dashboard, you can see any scheduled unavailability for today, such as here, where Susan has a medical appointment from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. The next section shows recurring unavailability for today, like here where Susan does not work on Monday afternoons. Finally, you can see any of your team's birthdays over the coming 7 days. This also reminds you to check that you have scheduled any mandatory pay rises. The schedule screen displays one row for every schedule that you have created. If you want to know how much a shift is costing, then you can click here on the $sign. This opens the schedule costs screen, where you can see the costs of your schedule from its start date to its end date, basically a week. Costs are broken down by days, roles, and workers. You can see here where the costs are broken down by each day. There is a line for each day of the shift, showing how many hours there are, and the exact cost of those hours. We can see here where the costs are broken down by role. If you wanted to know how much your wait staff are costing for the week, then you would just look here. Lastly, the costs are broken down by the name of the person who worked the hours. You can see here that Ben Carter has worked 43 hours at a cost of £525.05. You can bring up a printable copy of this report and send it to your printer, like this. Now, back to schedules. It is worth noting that every screen has a lovely little help button that if you click or tap on a mobile device, will slide out a help drawer that will tell you anything that you want to know about whichever screen you are currently using, like this one here, on the schedule screen. Okay, schedule screen. When you click on the start date of a schedule, it opens the schedule days screen, where you see one row for each day of the schedule, which is a maximum of 7 days. You can see here on the second column that it shows you how many hours of work are planned for the day, versus how many hours you have assigned to workers. This does change color, with green meaning that there are no issues, yellow means that there are issues like Working Time Directive violations, and red means that the schedule has become impossible, like when somebody has called in sick and their shift needs to be reassigned. Here we see that Monday is yellow, so let's see why. The issue is related to this bartender role here that runs from 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night. So let's have a look. The issue is the fact that Andrew is scheduled to work for 6.5 hours without a break, which is 30 minutes longer than the UK Working Time Directive allows. We could schedule Andrew to start at 12 instead of 11:30. This is now only a 6-hour shift, so there are no compliance issues. After we save the change, we are taken back to the day. We can see that the warning has been removed from the shift, and we can also see that we now have a gap in our coverage which might not be ideal. If we click on the gap, we can assign somebody to fill it. This is one of CaterShift's strengths. When we click on the worker drop-down list, we only see workers that have the ability to be a bartender, and conveniently, we see that each worker is colored in the list. Green means that there are no issues with choosing the person, red means that is simply not possible to assign the person. This could be for many reasons, like they are already assigned to another task, or they are strictly not available at this time. We can still select the person if they are red, if not just to see why they are not available. Let's see why Jack O'Neill is not available. It says here that he has a conflicting shift from 11:30 until 3. We cannot even save this because of the conflict. CaterShift always warns you if you are about to lose your changes because you didn't press save. Here we can click No. Back to our problem gap. If we look again at all of the people who have this ability, we can see that Andrew is listed but he is colored yellow, because, as we know, assigning him here would result in a 6.5-hour shift. Just to demonstrate the point, we can assign Andrew for the first 10 minutes of the shift from 11:30 to 11:40, which gives him a 20-minute break, and therefore there is no Working Time Directive violation. We do need to assign Andrew to a paid break for this 20-minute period, so that the break appears on his schedule. CaterShift makes this easy by conveniently showing any gaps in people's schedules and allows you to put the person on a paid or unpaid break for that period. Clicking on the paid break button will assign Andrew to the paid break role from 11:40 to 12. We can fill the gap with any green person like this. Click on the gap. Select a worker who has no issues. Press save and back to the day. You can see here that the status of our schedule has changed to published, out of date. This is because we have just made a change to the schedule, and the link that has been sent out to the team is no longer up to date. The status of a schedule is always shown at day level, whole week level, and schedule level. To publish an up-to-date schedule, we click directly on any schedule status. A screen pops up where we can click on the Publish Latest Changes button and give it a second. Now we can click on Copy Link and Message to place the link on our clipboard. Now you can go to WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, email, or whichever tool you use to communicate with your team and send them the link. I am going to use iMessage. I will paste the link like this. This is what your team members see when they receive the message. All they have to do is click on the link. This shows the searchable schedule. The team member can enter part of their name to only show their schedule. Should they wish to, they can print their schedule. Now to create next week's schedule. This is beautifully easy. From the Schedules screen, simply click on the Copy Existing button. CaterShift will default your new schedule to start on the next unscheduled day and ask you which 7-day schedule you would like to copy. The most recent schedule is always at the top of the list. I will select the most recent schedule and press Copy. After a few seconds, our new, validated schedule is ready. Schedules are always unpublished when they are initially created. If we look at the days in this schedule, we can see that some of them have problems that need to be resolved. Let's have a look at one of them. We can see here that this worker has a Working Time Directive warning. I will read it to you. Weekly rest warning. Ben Carter is currently on a 48-hour rest until November 4, 2025 at 10:30. Ben Carter was supposed to start a 48-hour rest on November 1, 2025 at 5 p.m. But Ben Carter's previous shift finished on November 2, 2025 at 10:30. Basically, we have people working 7 days a week. For demonstration purposes, I am going to turn Monday into a cleaning day. To do this, we delete the day, confirm that we really do want to delete the day, and then, there, Monday is gone. Wait a few seconds. Now we can see that Monday is gone, and the whole schedule has been revalidated. We can see that we have no issues, as each day is green. Now I am going to add Monday back as a blank day, like this. Now we can see that we have a Monday with absolutely nothing in it. We can click on Monday, where we can see there is nothing scheduled for this day. We are going to add a cleaning role. We click on the Add Role button. Choose the cleaner role. Set the start time to be 8 o'clock in the morning, and the end time to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then we save it. Now we can see that all we have on Monday is a cleaner role with nobody assigned to it. We click on the gap and choose a worker from the list. There are only 3 people who have the cleaner role, so we will choose Susan. We are trying to assign her for 8 hours, so we are getting a break warning, and she doesn't work on Monday afternoons anyway, so we will schedule her to work from 8 until noon. That is a 4-hour shift with no issues, so we can press save. We can now see that Susan is assigned the cleaning role in the morning, and we still have a gap for the afternoon. We can fill the afternoon gap by clicking on it and assigning Andrew to the role. He is green on the list because it is only a 4-hour gap, so there are no issues. Save, and done. There is our 7-day schedule, all green, and ready to publish to our team. I am now publishing this schedule to the team. That will just take a few seconds to complete, and there, done. To demonstrate how quick and easy it can be to create a 7-day schedule, I am creating a schedule for next week. Copy existing. Choose existing schedule to copy. All done. Let's have a look at a scenario where a member of your team wants to book a day off. Let's stick with Susan. Say she wants Monday, the 17th of November off. We click on Workers and search for Susan. Once we have found her, we click on her Availability button. Click Add Availability. Give this a sensible name like November 17th off. Almost done. And there we are. Choose November 17th for both the start date and the end date. Once that is done, press Save. Now we can go back to Schedules and we are going to create a schedule that covers the 17th. We click on Copy Schedule, choose the latest schedule to copy from the top of the list, and press Copy. Now we can see that a new schedule has been created, and, as expected, there is an issue. To see what the problem is, we first click on the schedule. This will show us all of the days within the schedule, and whichever days are causing issues will be colored red. We can see that Monday is red, so that is where our problem is. By clicking on Monday, we can see that Susan is not available because we booked her off for the 17th. We can simply change Susan for someone who is available. Press Save. And the schedule is now ready to be published.